Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Cop Council. How are we all? Hopefully, all of yous are well. I look like I've just gone through a forest. Don't know why my hair is like that. Anyway, but how are we? Hopefully, all of yous are well on this Wednesday evening, of course. Again, me getting my days mixed up. I swear I've got Alzheimer's coming along anyway. But how are we, chat? Hopefully, you lot are doing well. And yeah, we're just mainly here to talk about one topic in particular. Tonight won't be a long show, it'll be about 10-15 minute long, if that, realistically. And we're going to talk mainly about a bit of news that's kind of come out in terms of Xabi Alonso reportedly has been, again, contacted to replace Jurgen Klopp as the next Liverpool manager. We will discuss all about it. Again, obviously, it's not major breaking news, but again, if there is any type of word out there, then again, we will bring it to you guys anyway. But let me know all of you are in the comment section down below as well. Big up to Press as well, saying yo as well. Hopefully, you're doing well, mate, as well. But yeah, there's obviously only a bit of news today, of course, and that is that with this, of course, as Santi has come out and said, and I think Foot Mokata, again, apologies for a bunch of names, but they've come out on a report saying that Liverpool have contacted Xabi Alonso to replace Jurgen Klopp at the end of the season. However, the Spanish coach is fully focused on Bayer Leverkusen and hopes to lead his team to the title in the Bundesliga. And of course, obviously, they could probably end up doing a lot more this season. I think that, of course, last night they did face Stuttgart, I believe, in their version of the FA Cup, of course. And again, it was a thrilling game to watch and to watch the highlights back, of course. But again, with the rumours now coming out and so on, like Neil Jones as well has also had his say and said that, of course, he thinks he's by far Liverpool's number one target. You've had other reports, The Athletic, I think yesterday or the day before, there's three names in particular that is on the list for Liverpool, and of course that is Alonso, De Zerbi, and Amorim from Sporting as well. Those three in particular are the main candidates for Liverpool, and again, we did a video on it. For me, he's by far Liverpool's number one target. If you can't get him, I think doing a punt on Amorim could be a shout. It might be a bit of a risk because, again, the Portuguese league, but there's been plenty of teams that's potentially wanted to take the risk on him as well. So it could be a matter of time before Xabi Alonso is announced as the Liverpool manager, but I don't think that will be the case. I think that obviously we know how football works these days, don't we? We know that it's a hard place to keep secrets. Obviously, the Jurgen Klopp story and him retiring, I don't think any of us even thought about it for a second, but listening to Klopp afterwards saying that, again, of course, it's he knew since November and that was a secret until then. I think it was amazing that it got kept such a secret conversation. Then when, of course, when Liverpool are looking for a new manager, that doesn't become as secret as I think many at Liverpool would want, and you hope that, again, it doesn't disrupt what we're doing. It doesn't disrupt what Bayer Leverkusen are doing as well, because at the minute, they look like the team that's going to stop Bayern Munich winning the Bundesliga for the first time since Jurgen Klopp. So you hope, of course, they do continue. You hope that they do push on because, watching Leverkusen this season, they've been probably the best team in Europe, I would say, to watch. And even though, again, they've drawn silly games here and there, again, they're unbeaten in all competitions. And I think that really goes to show on how good Xabi Alonso has pushed them to it. You look at it from last season, massively underperforming, 17th in the league, I think they was, when he joined 18 months ago. And then he's completely turned that around while, key players going, having key players injured, and they're top of the Bundesliga. They're still in all comps as well. It's a pretty good going. And to become the next Liverpool manager, you want someone like that. And obviously, it could be a risk for Liverpool. We've said this on plenty of videos. It could go down, it could go wrong. And of course it could. But and I've said it on the manager video that we did. Barcelona took a massive risk on Pep Guardiola. They saw, of course, what he's done in obviously the B teams and so on, and they gave him the opportunity of that Barcelona team, and look what's happened since. And I think that Xabi Alonso could also do that. I think he could take that next level. And of course, people obviously think that, the way Liverpool, the way people are having things at the minute and so on, we can't play a 3-back, we can't play a 5-back, this, that, and the other. It's more or less Alonso adapts to the team he has. Look what he did at Sociedad. Look at the first year at Leverkusen. Again, he adapts to his squad, and I think obviously with Jurgen leaving the squad that is here, it's one hell of a squad to take over. Whoever does come in, of course, you guys know I want Alonso. I think you guys want Alonso as well. But obviously, more and more things will get leaked. I think that with the international break that I think comes up at the end of March, I think that's when you would most likely see a deal getting done. To be fair, but again, we'd have to wait and see. But I think obviously, the people at Leverkusen, they're smart. Liverpool are smart behind the scenes as well. You'd hope that there's a common ground there anyway, if there was to be some sort of deal. Anyway, but wasn't fond with Alonso, but now I don't mind, says press. The worst kept secret right now from Klopp announcement. It's inevitable. This is happening. All the noise is he seems to tick all the boxes and has that boot room culture as well. Yeah, 100%, Chris. On that, I'd like Alonso to win the Bundesliga or Europa League before I'm fully convinced by him. I'm fully convinced of him now. Like, even if he didn't join Liverpool and that say, he thought it wasn't right, right here, right now, I still think that Alonso could do well if he stayed at Leverkusen. If he went then straight to a Bayern Munich or Real Madrid, I still think, again, he's that manager. When you look at everyone who's managed him, you can just, and the way he talks and the way that you've seen his system adapt and develop, there's just signs there of the next great manager. And look, it might not happen. Again, he could come to Liverpool and it absolutely not work out. But I think it's worse. It's worse. It's worth the risk to take Xabi Alonso and for him to be the next Liverpool manager. I think truly, I think he is. And he could be that good. People speak about Pep Guardiola. Alonso could be that good. But again, you need to have a bit of take a little bit of risk and hopefully high risk, high rewards. How Liverpool do things. Now we're having the Europa League. Absolutely, press. People saying he's another Arteta. If he wins the Bundesliga against the giant of Bayern Munich, he's earned this job straight away and done more than Arteta. 100% agree. Alonso v Pep next season is going to be 50-50 possession ball for us and City next season as well. Yeah. I'd also go and watch the Jamie Carragher interview he did, where he speaks about Guardiola and Mourinho and like how they're different and so on. Again, it's very insightful. I was watching Redmen earlier speak about it. Who else was I watching a video on? James Allison, I think it is as well. He's got a really good video on Alonso and why Alonso looks to be the one for Liverpool. I think, go and watch those videos. And I think that both of those videos nailed it on the head straight away on why he should be Liverpool's next manager, for sure. But people are going to have an uproar saying he plays 3 at the back, blah, blah, blah. If he's a good manager, he can adapt to what his squad suits, which is a 4-3-3. If anyone shows he can have different plans, yeah, 100%. That 4-3-3 is Klopp's formation. Once he's done, I don't want another 4-3-3. I think Alonso, again, adaptability. Again, he could go with a 4. He could go with a 3. Again, do Liverpool have the players to do what Leverkusen do at the minute? No, I don't think we do fully. But like I said, Alonso will change it. We could see 4-2-3-1 come back properly. Under Alonso, we could see 4-3-3. I think we stay around that if he was to come in. But then again, in different games and different scenarios against different teams, we could play a three at the back. You could play Virgil, Canate, Matip if he was to stay as well. Again, there's different options, there's different varieties of what Liverpool can do, and what the Liverpool squad can do as well. We just haven't seen it under Jurgen because, of course, we play 4-3-3 or sometimes change to a 4-2-4. And again, the difference in styles as well will also be interesting because, of course, as Jurgen said it, we have organized chaos, which has been Liverpool's way since Jurgen come into the club. And Alonso at the minute has, it's more on the Pep side of things in terms of everything's, everything is short passes and technically put out. Again, there's like a rhythm, like a song, for example. That's what Alonso plays and what he's grown up obviously as a player has gone through, again, with Guardiola, Mourinho, and so on as well. But I think Alonso could then bring that other side to him, like, with Ancelotti side of things, or even Mourinho, in terms of defensive style. Again, there's adaptability there. But for me, I want Alonso. I know plenty of you guys might say a bit different. But for me, I want Alonso. And if it is true that, again, that Liverpool have made contact, if Liverpool have gone on to, as Santi has said, but again, Liverpool have contacted Xabi Alonso to replace Jurgen Klopp. Again, if this is to be the case, if Liverpool have got it over the line in terms of having the first conversations, then again, brilliant in that sense. But again, nothing will mean, me seeing anything about this or, anything else to what I say on videos or whatever will mean nothing unless he comes in at the end of the season. But I think he will. Again, but we will have to wait and see, of course, anyway. But let me know your guys' thoughts anyway on the Alonso stuff, because again, that's the only realistic newsworthy stuff today. I wanted to do a video, but again, I didn't want to do pre-records because I wanted to live chat as well. But again, yeah, just let me know. Anyway, it felt inevitable, and that Arsenal battering really knocked me for six. Didn't see us being exposed that badly made me feel like there are other systems out there, and there will be a life after Klopp. Yeah, I've seen a couple of people going on about it, and I think, again, for this team, again, I think Sunday we could have adapted better to the situation, but I think the future is that exciting. Like, again, this squad, I just look at the squad, from Ali to Trent to Maka to Darwin. You just look at the whole team and it's exciting. And it is very exciting. And then that's without potentially a summer of a rebuild, because I think all of us turn around and we've done videos about, who could Liverpool add next season in terms of, which players we could bring in from next, from right now. None of us have a clue, what players are going to come in because we don't know the manager. And even if Alonso was to come in, or any other manager, if it was De Zerbi, for example, we don't know the type of players that they will want to bring into the club. And, again, it could be that Alonso would come in and he would want to bring, a Wirtz, or he'd want to bring in a Frimpong from the Bundesliga. Who knows? In that sense, maybe Alonso might not like the look of a certain player. That would mean they leave the club or so on. And again, that's the interesting time at the minute with the club, because again, I think the biggest conversation in the summer, of course, was going to be Mo Salah. Again, getting him to sign a new contract, and would he go? Would he stay? And I think that now's even opened up the conversation even more to, if Alonso was to come in, does he play? Would Mo stay, or does he think that because Jurgen's going, I'm going? Again, we don't know. And only time will tell in that sense as well. But Ventures in saying, I think we have a lot of players who could play in that formation, but what happens to the wingers? As I imagine in a 4-2-3-1, you could play cams, not just wide men. True. it could adapt from a 4-3-3 into a 4-2-3-1 into a 4-3-3 if we wanted to. But yeah, because I think when you look at the metric, Leverkusen are quite. I think that in Europe they've had the most short passes in Europe in all competitions, in attempts and successful. But I think in terms of long balls, like Liverpool, we know Liverpool sometimes are a very long ball team, but Leverkusen don't tend to play that style. I think they've got the least amount of the Bundesliga compared to Liverpool. I think Liverpool have got the most in the Premier League. So, yeah, again, when you look at it like that, it's not that great, is it? When we're comparing teams, but again, new team, new manager, and so on, a new system. Battering as well, said Scouser. Of course, there will be life after Klopp. Sometimes Klopp's football is too obvious, says Press. Could be, it can be. I think last season, obviously, Liverpool 1.0 was, was at its end, realistically. Villa 3-0, Jesus Christ, Chelsea. I can just see Alonso keeping Thiago, being Spanish, and he's played with him. Yeah, that's the one for me that I think Alonso might keep round. I think if Jurgen was staying, I think that Thiago would be off in the summer. But now Alonso's coming in, he could very well ask him to stay for one more year and then leave next year, which I think plenty of us a couple of weeks ago would have said Thiago's 100% going, and then everything else has changed. I don't think Leverkusen would allow us to buy from them. They wouldn't. They aren't like Dortmund, who generally identify replacements long before players leave. To be fair, I can see what you mean by the venture, but when you do look at Leverkusen's team, the majority of them have release clauses. We love a release clause, certainly from last season, but I think Wirtz has £100 million release clause, if I'm wrong about that. Frimpong, I think, has got 40 mil. Who else? Is it Boniface has got a release clause as well? Actually, to be fair, I think Boniface play from Stuttgart or Leverkusen? I think it's Stuttgart. But still, Frimpong's got a release clause as well. So again, their best players are available. It's just, again, Liverpool have to pay full price in that regard anyway. But Thiago and Bajcetic in Alonso ball, it will be naughty as well. Yeah, 100% Press anyway. And Venture saying 3-1 as well. But yeah, for me, again, I think the major update we'll have is the end of March. I think when the international break is around, and that's the only time from now until the end of the season is when, of course, teams, people can meet up and obviously have meetings and so on. Of course, you could have that anytime, but again, with obviously them going for the title, us going for a title, you'd like that not to create headlines in that sense, because again, that can distract from winning a league title. And at the minute, Leverkusen are doing really, really well. I think they're 2 points ahead of Bayern at the minute. And yeah, I hope they win the Bundesliga. I hope Alonso does win it, and fingers crossed we might see him in June as the new Liverpool manager. Anyway, but I am going to leave it there for tonight, guys. Big thank you to everyone for tuning in. If you're new around here, if you're watching the video, then please hit that like button, hit the subscribe button as well. It's very much appreciated as always. We may be live tomorrow. I'm not going to guarantee anything. We'll definitely be live Friday for Burnley preview, because of course we'll have news hopefully from Jurgen in the day with, of course, the press conference. Hopefully news on Szoboszlai. Hopefully not any more injuries as well. Fingers crossed and touch wood. But again, hopefully to get back on track on the weekend as well. Anyway, and fingers crossed. Again, we can go on another 5-month unbeaten run anyway. But if you're just tuning in as well, of course, this is the main news. Of course, the Liverpool have reportedly contacted Xabi Alonso to replace Jurgen Klopp at the end of the season. We'll just have to wait and see. And fingers crossed, it is true. Anyway, but until next time, guys, that's going to be it from me. I've been Connor from the Cop Council. See you guys tomorrow. Ta-ra.